Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Sharief, Ishaq in 30 minutes talking about the New Orleans Saints. Some college football win totals coming your way in 15 minutes. So lots to do here in Hour 2. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Let's start with LSU and Grambling tonight at 6:30. Just a couple of nuggets here of note for LSU. We know that LSU's been bad in the midweek to this point, and you gotta shake that at this point. You cannot go out there and even, in my estimation, play a competitive game against Grambling. That can't happen. LSU's not in a position to overlook anybody. You're sitting here having lost games to teams that you shouldn't lose to more often than not. It happens in the midweek, but you play Southeastern, you play Dartmouth and Northeastern. Like, you need to go out there and play well, and LSU needs to play well tonight. This is a Grambling team that has a 9.19 ERA as a team. They have allowed at least 10 runs in 11 of 18 games thus far. They have been run ruled by a lot of teams. Like Southeastern Louisiana run ruled them. Northwestern State run ruled them. Northeastern was down here to play LSU and run ruled them. ULM run ruled them. Southern run ruled them. It's not a good team. But if you don't play well and you walk teams and you pop up, then you can be in a dogfight. Like Southeastern got in a dogfight with Grambling. Dartmouth got in a dogfight with Grambling. Northeastern got in a dogfight with Grambling. Like, that can happen, but it shouldn't. So with that on the line, like, Grambling's fielding 952. For perspective on fielding 952, LSU can't play any worse on defense, and they're fielding 964. Grambling shortstop has made 9 errors. Like, LSU should score a bunch of runs. Like, yes, SWAC pitching at times. They'll throw somebody out there that throws 82. They'll throw somebody out there that throws a 64-mile-an-hour curveball. It's not necessarily what LSU is used to seeing, obviously. But they give up a lot of runs, and LSU needs to score a lot of runs. So you talk about pitching and what's available. Goes without saying, you're not going to throw Case and Evans, and you're not going to throw Cooper Moore or William Schmidt. I don't know about Devin Sheeran. He threw 40 pitches on Sunday. He'd had 1 day of rest. I would think he would not be available, but perhaps for the 9th inning, if you needed to win the game, you might be able to go to him. I think everybody else is good to go. So your 3 weekend starters and Sheeran are the question marks. Everybody else should be ready to go. I did not talk about Zach Cowan yesterday. That's probably a mistake and an oversight on my part. Cowan had his best outing of the year on Friday. He threw 3 1/3. He got through it on 41 pitches. He threw strikes. He got some swings and misses where LSU was struggling to do that at that point, and LSU certainly wasn't throwing it over the plate. And he actually held the rope so that LSU could get back in the game, which they did and took the lead, and then Guidry gave it up in the bottom of the ninth. But Cowan did well, and I think he should be available. And I'm not going to close the door on Zach Cowan returning to a functional bullpen piece for this team. Yes, he got off to a terrible start this year. And yes, I had questions about his ability to be a starting pitcher on this staff, even when he decided to come back last summer, because I just don't trust his breaking ball. I think he's a fastball changeup kind of guy, and the fastball's not going to scare people. He throws 92, 93. But it looked good against Vanderbilt. And LSU's looking for consistent relievers. And, oh, by the way, they're looking for relievers to throw the ball over the plate. And Cowan, generally speaking, does that. And he did it on Friday, and he got some guys out. So I would like to see him in this game. Jaden Newt is certainly available for this game. He only got 2 outs on Friday, so he's ready to go. And the guy that I think makes some sense to pitch in this game is Marcos Paz. I will be completely honest and put the cards on the table here. When Paz entered the game on on Saturday. When Paz entered the game on Saturday, he struck out the side. I didn't see it because we were leaving the Savannah Bananas game, and if I was watching LSU get blown out on my phone while navigating the Superdome crowd, my wife would have taken my phone and punted it off the Superdome balcony. So, like, that wasn't an option. I wasn't watching when he did that. So, I didn't see it, but the stat line's good, and that's a talented kid who got his first taste of SEC action and did very well. He's now had Sunday and Monday off, and I would not be surprised at all to see him back out on the mound in this game because you want to see if you can build off of an outing where he threw strikes and struck out the side. So I think that's a guy you would see. The arms I expect to see in this game are Cowan, Newt, and Paz. Beyond that, yes, all the guys, Ricken, the lefties with Santiago Garcia and Ethan Plog, and I mean, the normal cast, and I would expect if LSU plays 9 innings tonight, they'll probably throw 7 or 8, 9 pitchers. That's just the way Jay likes to run this thing. I don't expect to see a starter go out there and go 75 pitches. You've got a quick turnaround coming on Thursday. You had a weird travel hiccup in Nashville where you couldn't leave on Sunday, so you had to leave on Monday, so you kind of lost Monday, which would have been a day off anyway for LSU, but they have a quick turnaround on Thursday, so you've kind of had this condensed week that they're not going to overly tax anybody in this Tuesday game. And Jay Johnson wouldn't say this, and maybe he doesn't even believe this, but like, as I look at a game where LSU is playing Grambling State, I look at this as an opportunity to get guys innings. I just would be surprised if LSU was in a dogfight tonight. I've seen it happen. I've seen Grambling beat LSU. I've seen Southern beat LSU. I've seen these midweek games. I've been down here for 25 years. Like I know that it's possible. It would surprise me. So, in my opinion, I'm looking at this as I break this game down and analyze it. I'm looking for LSU to run rule Grambling. Like, and I understand. I can. This is one of those instances where I'm talking into the microphone and I can see all of y'all's imaginary faces driving around, rolling your eyes. Like, you think this team's going to run rules? What would give you any indication that this team could run rule anybody? Did you see him lose to Northeastern? Did you see him lose to ULL? Did you see him lose to McNeese last week? I saw it all. I got it. But this is a different beast. This is a team that does not catch ground balls, that does not throw strikes, that does not have talent on the mound, and that gets run ruled 2 times a week. I think LSU should run rule. And that is what I expect to see tonight. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But, like, I don't have any problem relaying that to you. This is a game where LSU needs to hit the ball on the ground and run. The way you get in trouble, because you're not going to strike out a lot tonight, the way you get in trouble is if you pop up on Grambling, because they'll catch fly balls. But a team that has a shortstop with 9 errors and that's fielding 950 is going to have trouble with hard ground balls, hard contact. And a big stat that I saw in the stat sheet today is that Grambling opponents are 60 for 66 on stolen bases through 18 games. That's a 91% success rate and more than 3 stolen bases per game. They just don't throw and catch well. So, yeah, run. Yeah, hit the ball hard on the ground. Yeah, put pressure on the defense with hit and runs and start runners. And just go play a good baseball game. This should be the most winnable game on the schedule for LSU. Yes. 4 days ago, I told you that I thought that Vanderbilt was the 7th most difficult of the 10 SEC series and that LSU would go win 2 out of 3. I'm aware. But tonight, Grambling coming in should be the most winnable game on your schedule. Just play a good one. Get some confidence. I heard this weekend through the grapevine that some of LSU's players are a little bit flummoxed by how this is going. They don't quite understand why they're not having the success that they kind of thought they would and that they did through 2 weeks. Well, this is a chance to take a win on Sunday in Nashville where your offense scored 10 runs in the last 3 innings and just keep swinging the bats well and run rule an opponent. You're not going to get any brownie points from anybody in any poll or in this fan base for run ruling Grambling. Like, that's not going to be something that moves the needle 1 centimeter. But for the players in there, maybe an opportunity, just feel a little bit better about what you're doing, playing a team that overmatched. It won't help you at all against Oklahoma. Cam Johnson's going to come out on Thursday, throwing 96 mile an hour from the left side with a plus changeup. Like, that's not applicable to Grambling in any way. Oklahoma's not going to play defense like Grambling. So it's not going to carry over in terms of the style of game you play tonight and then on Thursday. But as far as the players' psyches go, go run rule somebody. Make it happen. I'll be pulling for that to happen tonight. It's at 6:30. You can listen to it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, 6 o'clock pregame show over there from the box. It'll be Chris Blair on the call. Then LSU back in action on Thursday against Oklahoma. We'll be breaking down tonight's game on tomorrow's show, and then we'll preview LSU and Oklahoma on Thursday. I'm looking forward to a Thursday series. I don't want LSU to do it 5 times, but I do like the Thursday series because I feel like it condenses the week. On Thursday show, you're already previewing the game. On Friday show, you got a game to react to, and it also gives you a free day on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to as well. So LSU and Grambling tonight, 6:30 from the box on what will be probably a bit of a chilly night with the wind blowing in a little bit at Alec Box Stadium. All right, when we come back, some win totals for SEC football teams coming up this fall. What's LSU's? And there's one that I think is almost free money. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Auctioner wants to remind you that all March long, it is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Colon cancer is very, very common, but it's preventable and treatable if you catch it early. But you're probably not going to catch it early if you don't go get your screening. Screening can detect those precancerous polyps before they turn into cancer. Adults, generally speaking, should start getting those screenings at 45. But if you've got a family history, you may need screening a little bit earlier. You don't have to feel sick to get a screening. You don't have to feel like there are symptoms to get a screening. Even if you feel healthy, screening is very, very important. Colonoscopies remain the gold standard. For those at low risk, maybe an at-home test can be an option for you, but talk with your provider. That's important. They can help you determine what the best choice is for you. So when it's time to schedule that colonoscopy, make an appointment with an Auctioner Health primary care provider or a GI specialist to start that conversation. Ask about your personal risk. Early detection can save lives. Schedule an appointment at auctioner.org/schedule or through the My Auctioner app.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Multi-platinum Grammy-winning superstar Zach Bryan is coming to Tiger Stadium Saturday, March 28th for the Death Valley Live Stadium Series, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is hooking you up with free tickets. Register now at 1045ESPN.com for your chance to win.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. We'll talk to Sharief Ishaq coming up here in about 15 minutes about the Saints. They added a running back earlier today, so we'll talk to Sharief about that and what's to come in the offseason for the black and gold. FanDuel released its SEC win totals at the end of last week, and we've got a graphic up at 1045 ESPN's Instagram page that's got it all laid out there for you. And I think a lot of these make a lot of sense. The top of the food chain here is Texas and Georgia at 9.5. And keep in mind, it's 9 league games now. So everybody's going to lose an extra game because they're playing each other. So you've got what was a non-conference game where everyone could win, theoretically. Now everybody's got to take a loss. Like there's got to be a loss for everybody in that 9th game. So half the league gets a loss. So your win totals are going to come down just a touch. But Georgia at 9.5, Texas at 9.5, I don't have any issue with that. Then you got Bama and Kalen DeBoer at 8.5 wins. That's where LSU sits as well. Texas A&M joins that group. So Bama, LSU, and Texas A&M at 8.5. I know that sounds low, but again, that's kind of what was 9.5 moves to 8.5 in these instances because you've got that extra league game, and the 9th league game means a lot. If we're talking about LSU and 8.5, like I understand it. You have a significant question mark at quarterback because he did not play awesome last year, was hurt last year, and can't practice to learn a new system. That's a big deal. You've got a monster non-conference game with Clemson, which I know the national media does not have a ton of respect for Clemson entering next year, and maybe Vegas does not as well, but it is a big game. This is not North Texas. It is Clemson, and they're going to come in here to play, and obviously you've got some very, very challenging home games for LSU. Bama is thought to be very good. Clemson is a big brand. Texas A&M had a great year last year. Texas has Arch Manning, is among the leaders in the win totals here in the country. That's all at home, not to mention you've got to go on the road to Oxford. Like, you've got to go on the road in the Southeastern Conference. So I don't have a huge problem with the 8.5. I will tell you this. I'm a little bit surprised at Ole Miss's total being 7.5.
Pistol Pete.
That is surprising to me, and I realize that it's a very, very popular LSU fan refrain to go, ha ha, Ole Miss, we stole your coach, he did everything, you hired this guy who's never been a head coach, like, you're gonna fall flat, Ole Miss has peaked, it's over, y'all are gonna suck, LOL. Like, that's a fun thing to do and say. And trust me, I want that to happen desperately. I want the bottom to fall out in Oxford so badly because I'm sick of recruiting against them and because LSU is going to play them the next 4 years. And if you're going to play them, they might as well suck. I'm all for it. I'm just not convinced they're going to fall off a cliff right now. Like, and trust me, I'm the guy who says don't hire the guy next to the guy. Texas A&M, don't hire Mike Early. Tennessee, don't hire Josh Elander. Like, I'm the guy who says don't just hire the assistant. I didn't like North Carolina hiring Hubert Davis. I didn't like Duke hiring John Shire. I hated Auburn handing things off to Bruce Pearl and Stephen Pearl. Like, I'm that guy. You got a big brand. You got a lot of money. Go do a search. But I'm not convinced it's going to be a disaster. And if you're telling me that Ole Miss is going to beat Louisville, which theoretically they'll be favored in that game, I think they're going to be a preseason top 10 team by some people. You beat Louisville, all I need to get over 7.5 is to go 5-4 in the league. 5-4 in the league is not that big an ask. I think it's more likely to me that Ole Miss wins 9 games than they win 7.
I think they'll definitely be better than A&M. I don't see it. I don't see it.
What I know about Ole Miss is that they have their defensive coordinators back.
Yep.
Who's done a good job there on defense. They're not like, they're not the greatest defense I've ever seen in my life. It's not 03 LSU. Yeah. It's not a 2011 LSU. It's not a vintage Saban's defense from 2010. But, like, they've got their defensive coordinator back, and that staff is back. And then on offense, yeah, they lost Lane Kiffin. Like, that's a big deal. I think losing Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. is a big deal. I'm not going to dismiss that. And hiring the guy from East Carolina just because he worked under Lane Kiffin, it's not the same as having Lane Kiffin. But he does have Trinidad Chambliss and Kejuan Lacey. Like, that's a pretty good place to start, right?
Easily. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's going to be a preseason Heisman talks.
He'll be the favorite. Him and Arch are going to be the favorites to win the Heisman. And Kejuan Lacey is a stud. And they got the number 2 transfer portal class in the country. That seems like a low number to me.
Not very.
To go under that total, they're going to have to go 7-5.
Yeah, they're thinking that Ole Miss is really just going to come out here and lay an egg. I don't see that. I definitely agree with that. Over time, yes. But immediately right now, no. There's still going to be – that game against LSU week 3 is going to be on and popping regardless.
I mean, I looked at their schedule to make sure that there wasn't something completely out of the ordinary. As you mentioned, like I said, they have Louisville, and they're going to beat Charlotte. They have Charlotte and Wofford as the non-conference, so that's fine, whatever. They play LSU at home. I think they'll be favored in that game. Maybe not, but I would think that. Then they got 2 road games back-to-back with a bye week in between, and they're at places in transition. It's Florida, who has a new coach, and then it's Vanderbilt, who is not in transition with coach, but they don't have Pavia. Yeah. So it's a freshman quarterback. So you got Vanderbilt. So those are not daunting road games, Florida and Vanderbilt. Then Missouri comes to Oxford. They're at Texas, which is a very difficult place to win. They play Auburn and Oxford, and then Georgia and Oxford. I would say Georgia would be better than them. But then they go to Oklahoma, and they play Mississippi State, who hadn't done really anything. So I don't see this as a 7-5 team.
Nah, not at all. And now, when you break it down like that, not at all. At first, it was funny, like, oh, yeah, 75.
Trust me, I love that. I love, hey, little Ole Miss, like, go away, you're done, we stole your coach. Like, that's all well and good. I'm not going to bet on that in year 1. I said this the day Lane Kiffin came here. I was like, if you ask me, like, I'm going to sell my stock in Ole Miss football. If the stock in Ole Miss football is trading at 50 wins over the last 5 years, which it is, and a spot in the semifinal where they were 12 seconds away from going to the national championship game, like, I'm selling that. Yeah. But 7-5, I'm not. That's not where I'm going in year 1.
Not at all. And it's crazy because if we're being honest, Chambliss by himself is good for 5 wins by himself, like just how he plays.
I'll hear the argument from someone who knows more about schematics and football than me and knows more about, Louisville's team than me, which is just about anybody because I don't know anything about Louisville's team now.
It has Shuck.
It has Shuck. That Ole Miss, that Chambliss was just running Kiffin's system and that Charlie Weiss helped him through the playoffs and now they're not going to be the same. Maybe, but there's another way to handle that, and it's to turn around and hand it to Kejuan Lacey. Yeah. Guy's a monster. They're not going 7-5. If you made me bet a future, I would take that one, and I would feel okay about it. I think LSU is pretty properly placed at 8.5. Tennessee at 7.5. Auburn down at 6.5. Here's one that was a little bit jarring to me because of what they've done over the last 4 years. Missouri at 6.5. And they've been a 9-win team. Now, their schedule was favorable, no doubt about it. And I don't know what their schedule is this year. But as I was scrolling through, I was like, man, Missouri's been a 9-10-win team for 4 years. They haven't beaten anybody at the top of the league, but they're handling the Kentuckys and the Vanderbilts and the Auburns and they're beating the Floridas, the teams that haven't been great. They're consistently better than them. So we'll see. And maybe this is Eli Drinkwitz' last year there if he can get another job. South Carolina down at 6.5 wins and Vanderbilt down at 6.5 wins.
Ooh, really?
Arkansas and Kentucky, new coaches, a lot of transition, down at 4.5 wins. And Jeff Lebby, 4.5 wins at Mississippi State. You go under that and you win 4 games at Mississippi State, I think they probably have to move on from Jeff Lebby. And that's not what they want to do. They're trying to instill some stability. They had some stability with Leach, and then obviously tragedy strikes them, and they go hire the defensive coordinator. He doesn't work, so you got to go hire another coach. And you're like, oh, well, you got Lebby in. They don't want to make another coaching change, but you got to win some games. And Lebby, they were better at the end of last year than they were at the beginning of last year. They got a big win over Arizona State, but
that game is so
win
crazy.
Some games.
Looking back at it, that game in particular, because when they won that game, everybody's like, Mississippi State's back. This actually might be a year where they look kind of decent, and then the wheels immediately fell off.
It's a hard league to win. They just don't have much money at all, and it just makes it tough. And to further the point, they take some of their revenue sharing and give it to the baseball team, which is very, very, very good. And that's not something that's happened in a lot of places in the Southeastern Conference, including around here. So it's interesting. That's a look at some win totals. I think LSU is pretty properly rated. I think that 8-4, 9-3, and 10-2 are all kind of on the table at this point. There's a lot for us to learn about this LSU team through spring practice and through a little bit of fall as well. But the one that stood out to me is Ole Miss. I just don't see Trinidad Chambliss and Kejuan Lacey and Pete Golding's defense being a 7-5 team. But I will laugh if that does in fact become the case. We'll see. All right, we'll talk to Sharief Ishaq when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Safety is a big deal in the bathroom, especially as folks age. So if there's someone in your life that's aging that wants to stay at home and you feel like there may be some hazardous situations arising in the bathroom, do what you can to mitigate those risks. I know that you can never completely eliminate those risks. Just is what it is. But you can do something to mitigate it. You can put in non-slip floors. You can put in a walk-in tub for comfort and safety. You can put in a shower with benches on it. You can do guardrails around slippery places. All of that could make a big difference, and David and his team do it all the time. So go to onebathandclosets.com and look at pictures of their great work, and then have that conversation. Have that consultation. Have that sit down with David Duvall. If you're looking for financing options, they have them 0% up to 18 months, same as cash, if you're looking to get something done very, very soon. It's One Bath and Closets. Check them out online at onebathandclosets.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Our Tuesday shows every week brought to you by Immense Network Cloud IT Management. If this sounds familiar, if you're a company of 50 to 100 employees or so, and you got one IT employee who's constantly overworked, running around, trying to help this person, trying to help that person, stressed out, it's just a tough gig for the one person who's handling IT for the company. Let Immense come in and help. Not replace, help. We all have been employed at a company where it felt like the IT department or person was just being run ragged. Immense is here to help. And that's what they want to do. They're here 24/7 with custom solutions to help your business perform. When you think IT, you probably think fixing a frozen computer, but it's way, way more than that. You're talking about Immense, which can help your business grow by showing you technological advances that they're aware of that maybe you aren't. So you worry about handling your business, and Immense will help you grow while managing your IT. Again, their sweet spot is 50 to 100 employees, anywhere from Lake Charles to Covington. They're happy to help you down here in South Louisiana, based right out of Baton Rouge. Check them out online at immense.net, immense.net. If you're looking for help with the IT staff, Immense can help you with that. Check them out online at immense.net. All right, let's talk some Saints. Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans, covering the black and gold. Sharief, how we doing?
Good, man. Good.
Good.
I think the agency has gone well so far for the Saints.
I would agree with that. You'll have a chance to talk to Kellen Moore back on Friday. We've played a lot of the sound here over the last 3 days, but I'm not sure if anything kind of stood out to you in speaking with the Saints head coach in the middle of this kind of roster acquisition mode of the calendar.
Thank you for asking that. Yes, I think the thing that stood out the most was the Alvin Kamara stuff.
Yeah.
I think like he could have made life much easier and just said, yes, Alvin's under contract with us. We can't wait to see how things go with he and Travis, even if he's not on the team, just to avoid the awkwardness and trying to guess what's going to happen. Because that's what it felt like whenever he was answering the question about retirement, he's going to be on the team. It would have been a simple, hey, I know he's not Sean Payton, but Sean would have said, hey, he's on our roster. He's under contract for one more year. So we're excited about Alvin. And that would have just kind of squashed a million questions. But I think that's the biggest thing I took in terms of like the sexiest soundbite, as we would say in TV. The rest of it was they addressed their positions of need. And he spoke a lot about the guys, highly about those guys that he got up until the point when we talked to them on Friday. And I think he's right. They really went after positions of need that they desperately had to address this offseason, and it's going to put them in a good spot moving forward, getting into the NFL draft.
Well, let's go back to running back, because obviously they signed Travis Etienne, and then you have the situation with the contract, and they made it a fairly easy separation from Alvin Kamara. And then you got that answer that you referenced with Kellen Moore. And then today they signed Ty Chandler. So, like, what are you reading here?
I'm reading that it's either he is going to be the second or third running back, or he's going to retire. I'll continue to say that Alvin said that he does not want to play anywhere else. He's the only one who has said that of the veterans. I would rather be sipping pina coladas somewhere than playing somewhere else. Now, if the Saints offered a 6th-round pick and they extend him, and the team extends him, maybe he changes his mind. But it just truly feels like, Hunt, that it's either here or he's done. I think that's what's probably being discussed. Hey, Alvin, what is your situation? We've knocked you down. You're at like $1.3 million. You either play all that or retire. And I think that's a decision that they're going to have to probably mull over here in the next month or two before and even after the NFL draft. I think if a decision is made, I think it's right after the NFL draft or leading into it. I think they still have time in their hand. There's really no rush to make the decision since they flushed out the salary cap in terms of his contract.
And look, we went through this discussion last year when the talk was about extension, and Kamara was considering maybe holding out, and then went out there to practice, and we know that the discussions were ongoing, and he wanted to be in New Orleans, and they got the extension done. And then you turn around, and it's like 7 months later, and all of a sudden things feel different. What happened?
I just think the productivity is down, Hunt. He hasn't really played not many players at that position play every single game. But the production has been kind of down, and naturally, whenever you hit 30, 31 years old, that's just the shelf life of a running back. Your production is going to go down, especially when they rely heavily on you when your offense had struggled for so many years. But I truly think that he would probably be fine playing that secondary third role behind Travis Etienne and even Devin Neal at this point in his career. I think he'd be fine with that. But are the Saints going to be fine with it? That's going to be the real question that the Saints have to answer, because if they keep adding running backs, like I told you, like for the previous few weeks, they're not done at that position. Even when they added Etienne, I kept saying they're not done adding at that position because they continue to drop like flies throughout the year. They need depth and reliable depth, and I think that maybe some of the answers are answered today with Ty Chandler.
How do you feel about the Saints running game as we sit here today, being what they've done in free agency and kind of what this position looks like?
Yeah, I like Achane. Of course, Travis Achane is the number one. Let's just say for this exercise that Alvin's on the roster, and having Alvin as your 2 and Neal as a 3, and then Ty Chandler as another depth piece and backup. I'm good. Even like if you have Estime, but then like I told you, then you're going to run into a problem that you have way too many running backs on this roster, and somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go. Whether it's Alvin or Kendre Miller, someone has to go. Evan Hull. You have just way too many running backs, but you just want to make sure you have the right running backs in terms of your depth. It's great to have 6 right now, but you got to have 4 solid ones. How
do you feel about the offensive line blocking for those guys?
Yeah, that's another position I still don't think they're done just yet. They need to add. They need to add a center. They need to add another guard. I know they got Dylan Radens on a 2-year extension, but I still think they need to add another guard and another center. I think that's another position that just hasn't held up, just like running backs. I mean, not those guys. Tyler Shuck is going to be running for his life like he was those last few games of the season. So I think that's where you see some of that depth added in the draft. They're going to have some guys to work with in the draft, and I think that's the best spot to continue addressing there.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, is our guest, covers the Saints down there in the Big Easies here on Tuesdays. All right, the Cam Jordan situation continues to meander along. Not a lot of answers there from Kellen on Friday, but Cam Jordan's talked a little bit. What do you sense the situation is there?
Yeah, just listening to him on Gerard Armstead's podcast saying that he has 3 options in free agency. I would love to know the 3 options. Look, I understand him, and he has not hidden his feelings about it. He wants to be valued because he has said over the years that I value the Saints, I value the city and the fans. I just need to know if it's if the feelings are mutual with the Saints. He knows the fans in the city value him a lot. He just needs to know. But you look at it this way, Hunt. It's got to work out for both sides. The Saints have to be smart. They are reloading. They are resetting this team. They're going younger. They're trying to fix this cap, which they have. Does he fit on Brandon Staley's defense? I mean, does the money make sense for both sides? I think both sides have to look at it as money in terms of he's at being 36, will be 37. He said he had 2 or 3 good years, and he feels like the Saints are a couple years away from really contending for a championship. Would love to be a part of that, but does each side agree with that? Can they make it work? And I mean, how much money does he want? Yeah. I mean, he had 10.5 sacks. Can he do that at 37 years old for the price that he might be asking for? It's a tough situation, but Hunt, you can't lose all your veteran leaders in 1 year. It has to happen eventually. It'd be nice to keep one of your veteran leaders on a position that you need depth for sure. Another position we could talk about is edge. It wouldn't hurt to have him back at a good price for both sides.
Would Kamara count as one of those leaders if you kept him around, if Cam wasn't here, or are those the last 2 guys you're kind of referencing?
Those are the last 2 guys. I think you need one on each side of the ball. It'd be nice to have one on each side of the ball. I think you can get Alvin one more year and finish it out for his final year, and you can get maybe Cam on a nice 1 year, maybe a friendly 2-year deal, and let him finish out his career. I think and not many players have played so many years like Cam has and did it on one team. And that's one thing they discussed on that podcast last night. And I think he said it's a business, man. He said It's got to make sense, And I agree with him in any aspect for any one of us in this lifetime. When it comes to money, it has to make sense at your job. If you're really still playing at a high level, working at a high level, you want to be valued and compensated like that. And I understand that from his perspective, but I also look at it from the Saints' perspective. They're just moving. They're moving into a different direction right now, and I think you'd have to be on board in their vision.
We shall see, Sharief. We appreciate the time.
All right, Hunt. See you next.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, down in New Orleans, covering the black and gold. We are in the middle of free agency at this point and still inching toward the NFL draft, which the coverage for the draft starts so early. And you don't really realize once you get into it just how far it is away. And it's still not that close to the NFL draft. But we'll get there one way or another. I got asked for an LSU Pro Day credential earlier today. So LSU Pro Day is coming up. They'll be all over the country at Pro Days. And draft will get here eventually. But we'll not have any shortage of coverage of the NFL draft on the national networks. That is something you can be absolutely sure of. All right, we'll step aside. We'll come back and close out the show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Fabry family has been in business here in Baton Rouge for almost 4 decades, 35 years. So you know the family. You know the quality customer service that you get when you go into one of their locations. Had 3 of them, 5 brands, and now they're thrilled to have Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville as of October the 1st. Reminder in the service department there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, they service all makes in the service department. So no matter what you're looking for as far as service goes, they can help you out there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Make that short drive to St. Francisville, whether you're in St. Francisville, just north of Baton Rouge in Baker or Scotlandville, Zachary, maybe you're over in Point Capee Parish, the Felicianas, of course. And it's a short drive from Baton Rouge as well if you're looking for an awesome deal, up to $11,000 off Silverados, up to $13,000 off GMC Sierras, and great APR financing options as well. So check them out, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. And always remind you the entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chill in the air, but not for long. It's going to be up warm again this weekend. You know that spring is here and that grass is growing. If you're looking to get a new zero-turn mower, Gotro's Outdoor Power needs to be your stop. They've been in business 22 years, Gotro family. Awesome folks, and they've got a great business with 2 locations, Baton Rouge on Airline Highway and then in Gonzales as well. But when I say family-owned and operated, don't think small. Not small at all. Largest parts inventory in Louisiana. The largest hustler inventory in the state by far. You won't miss that if you drive down Airline Highway. You will see that mountain of orange inventory. That's Gotro's Outdoor Power, and they can get you behind the wheel of a mower for, look, $100 a month. You probably pay more than that to have your grass cut. So get behind the wheel of a new zero-turn mower and make that happen yourself. They were the National Hustler Dealer of the Year 2 of 3 years. National Hustler Dealer of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. They're awesome at what they do. It's amazing people, wonderful customer service, locally owned and operated, and they've got great pricing as well. And that's coming up with Mower Madness at the end of March. Continue to get you ready for that as we move closer, coming up next week. If you're looking to get behind the wheel of a new mower, Gotro's Outdoor Power needs to be your stop. Again, 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and then in Gonzales. GotrosOnline.com, GotrosOnline.com. All right, we're moving towards the finish line here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I want to remind everybody that we will have sports trivia tonight at Court to Table. You can come on out and see us on Burbank. We're going to be watching LSU baseball and Grambling, watching Texas and NC State in the NCAA tournament. We'll have a rooting interest there. And you can eat their great food at Court to Table. You can get their great drinks at Court to Table, and you can win gift cards. It's always a lot of fun. So I get asked all the time, can I come by myself? Absolutely. You can come with 13 people, too. There will be teams there. We always have a heck of a time. So hope to see you out at Court to Table on Burbank tonight for a fun Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'll have you out of there by about 9:15. So it's not all hours of the night here on a school night. Just 8 o'clock to about 9:15. Always a fun time. So I hope you'll come by and see us. LSU and Grambling tonight at 6:30. I had a preview of that at the top of the show that you can check out. I want to see LSU throw the ball over the plate, catch the baseball, hit the ball hard and low on the ground, line drives, ground balls, make Grambling field the baseball. The way you get in trouble in these games, especially on a chilly night when the wind's blowing in, is start getting under balls, start popping up. Grambling will catch your pop-ups, I promise you. Hit the ball hard on the ground, run, score runs, and I would like LSU to get out of this thing tonight in 7 innings. That's the goal. This is a team that's been run-ruled by a number of teams throughout the state. ULM's run-ruled them. Northwestern State's run-ruled them. Southeastern Louisiana's run-ruled them. They've been run-ruled a lot. You need to run-rule them tonight and save some arms for Thursday and get ready to go. And if you want to use this as a building block from the game on Sunday, Sure. Is it applicable to what you'll see on Thursday? I would suggest probably not. But if it's good for the vibes in the clubhouse, which have not been great, at least in the stadium the last couple of weeks, because they just haven't played very well, and you're not going to have a ton of fun when you're getting beat 6 out of 8, 6 out of 9. But that improves the vibes tonight if they can go out there and play well and have an easy win. I'm all for it. We'll see how Jay Johnson wants to handle the pitching, but I'll have a story up tonight on LouisianaSports.net, and we'll certainly be talking about it tomorrow on tomorrow's show. We'll do What If Wednesday. We'll have my latest SEC baseball power rankings. LSU will take a dip in those, I'm confident. We'll look at March Madness as well, and we'll talk to Koki Riley from The Advocate. So lots to do on a Wednesday edition coming up tomorrow. But for this Tuesday edition right now, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Broncos are acquiring wide receiver Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins, pending a physical. We have to preface that, pending a physical.
You better.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We just know pending this physical. So Denver is sending the Dolphins a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and an additional fourth-round pick swap in the 2026 NFL Draft. So Jalen Waddle, the missing piece in Denver, take it or leave it?
I'll take it. I mean, I'll take it. There's possible that you could do better at quarterback, but they're not going to do that. So maybe Bo Nix is good enough. I mean, look, I wouldn't have told you 6 months ago that Sam Darnold was good enough to win the whole thing either. Yeah. So here we are. But it certainly helps. He's fast. It's like the old Mike McDonald line when he was coaching coaching Mike McDonald and McDaniel.
Yeah, Mike McDonald's in
Seattle. McDaniel was in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they get Tyreek Hill. They get Jalen Waddle. Hey, he's fast. He's fast. Just a whole deal. He is fast, and he'll be able to run fast in Sean Payton's offense, that's for sure.
And in Denver, thin air. Might be able to ball go really far, so we'll see. So, star Michigan forward Yaxel Lindenberg was his top player available in the transfer portal last year, and he chose the Wolverines over Kentucky. Well, he told the Associated Press that Kentucky was in the mix, and this is what he had to say. They started the number between 7 to 9 million. They were pretty much going off on a route like, we'll pay him to get him here. So is paying to play not the end-all, be-all? Take it or leave it.
I will take that. It's not a popular take. People that are skeptical, and whenever LSU loses a recruit or your school loses a recruit, well, they just didn't pay him. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a reason to doubt these kids. On3 hosted a bunch of the top 50 players in the country a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And they did an anonymous survey. Said, did you pick the highest bidder? And 80% said no. Now, I'm not suggesting that they were being offered $2 million and taking $200K.
Yeah.
But there are other factors: geography, relationship with coaches, system. There are other things that do matter. Not all the time. Sometimes it's just who's going to pay me the most, but not every time.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy that he's even coming out and saying this.
Yeah.
But it goes to show you that there's, people said Kentucky roster was $20 million. Oh, almost definitely. If he's talking about they was going to give him between $7 to $9 million by himself, yeah, no way the roster is not $20 million. So this is a good one. So Colts signed Notre Dame's power forward Carson Tott with the idea of converting him to a tight end. He's 6'8", 250. He averaged 6 points and 9 rebounds this year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So did the Indianapolis Colts find their new Jimmy Graham? Take it or leave it?
I'll leave it. Probably not. Leave it alone. But it's worth a shot. You could convince me that this is a story. Trey'Dez Green's a basketball player.
Yeah.
He's been a basketball player his whole life. He played basketball at LSU, but he's not big enough to play basketball now.
Yeah.
But he's a freak on the football field. So that skill set does translate. And I will tell you this, people had the argument all the time. It doesn't happen anymore, but it did 10 years ago. Could LeBron play tight end in the NFL? Yeah, he could.
Yeah,
he would be a problem in the slot. I'm sorry. He's not physical enough. Have you seen him fly? He's 6'9", and he runs fast and can jump higher than everyone. That would be a problem on an NFL field. If Bo Jackson can do it, other people can do stuff like that. It's rare. I'm not saying a lot of people can do it. LeBron can do it.
Now, so that's it for take it or leave it.
I filled out my bracket.
Okay, who you got? Chalky?
It's not terrible. It's not stupid. It would be dumb to put a bunch of 6 seeds in the Final Four. But I've got Duke and Houston in the Final Four. That's a 1 and a 2. I've got Arkansas and Michigan in the Final Four.
Arkansas
a 4 and a
too.
1. I've got Duke and Michigan in the national final, and I've got Michigan winning the whole thing.
Michigan winning it all.
I have never sniffed any sort of payout in this. My crowning achievement in this was in the 2007 tournament.
Okay.
I went 16-0 the first day. That included a VCU over Duke. That's my crowning achievement.
16-0 one day?
I think it was a chalky day, but VCU did beat Duke. I remember watching it at Southgate Towers. I was a freshman at LSU. I spent the entire day at my buddy's house with a number of Keystone Lights and went 16-0. But that was 19 years ago, and I don't think I've done anything well since. So that was a high point for me. We'll see if this year gets it done.
All right, so my Final Four, I have Duke, Florida, Arkansas, and Michigan. A little chalky, but I don't know. There's something about Acuff, man. Something about Acuff.
He's a monster.
Monster.
I'll take the best player on the floor. We'll see if Will Wade gets a win tonight, or if he doesn't.
Hopefully not.
We'll see. We'll be talking about it on tomorrow's show. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Search Hunt Palmer Show. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. Hope to see you at Trivia or at the box tonight. If not, we'll see you tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Find them on Segan at Perkins. Such a cool spot. If you're looking to work on your game but have trouble finding a driving range that has grass growing or that doesn't have a bunch of scuffed up golf balls or is not close to your house, or you're having trouble because it's windy out there, it's cold, or it gets dark too early because you get off work, how about take all those elements out and work on your game at Swing Easy Golf Club? It's a really, really good spot, whether you're a beginner that's trying to pick the game up or you're a scratch player that's just trying to hit some shots. It's a really good environment to do so in a controlled spot where you can turn on the driving range feature. You can see the trajectory of your shots. You can see how far your carry distance is. You can see what your ball speed is. They've got a great slow-mo impact camera that shows where your club face is impacting the golf ball. I found it really, really helpful in the times that I've been over there. So if you're looking to work on your game, no matter what your skill level is, you can do it at Swing Easy Golf Club. Go by and see him, Segan at Perkins, SwingEasyGCBR.com.